This is how we can teach our dog a start button. Now, a start button is a way for our dog to communicate if they're comfortable with something continuing or if they would prefer something stops. So basically, we're teaching them a yes or a green light and a no or a red light. So the start button that I'm going to use for Jane is going to be a chin rest, which looks like this. So Jane placing her chin on my hand or an object is her way of saying yes or go. And then if she happens to lift her chin off my hand, then we're going to stop. And it's her way of saying no. So the first thing I need to do is simply teach Jane a chin rest. Now, I'm going to briefly go over how we would do that. I'm going to use a marker word for this, so I'm going to use the word yes. I'm going to start with the treat in my hand just to lure her in position. So I'm going to lure her onto my chin, onto my hand, say yes, and then give her a treat. And then I'm just going to do that a few times. Yes, and she gets a treat. Once we've done that, yes, I'm going to then start fading that cookie in my hand. So empty hand, I'm going to lure her, yes, and then feed. And I like to feed low so it maintains that position. So once I have my dog consistently putting her chin on my hand, then I'm going to build a little bit of duration. So by doing that, I'm simply going to change to the marker word good, which says, I like what you're doing. Good. Please continue. Good. So it means a treat's coming. Good. And I'm feeding low to help her maintain that position. So now I have my dog understanding what a chin rest is. Now, one thing that's very helpful for a start button is to have something that's alternative to you, okay? So it's not associated completely with you. What I mean by that is rather than having her rest her chin on my hand, I'm going to have her learn how to rest her chin on this stool with a towel for comfort. So what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to place this in front of her. And let's pretend Jane doesn't know this. I'm going to then put my hand down. So she knows how to put her chin on my hand. So that, yes, is going to get her to do it on, yes, a chin rest on the stool. Then I'm going to fade my hand, yes. That was a little treat that kind of got her to do the chin rest, but I'm going to mark that anyways. So I'm going to wait till she finishes. And she says, this is a little different. Yes. I'm going to say yes when she does it correctly, and then feed her out of position, yes, in a way that allows her to try it again. Yes. So now what I want to do is I want to just make sure that Jane will maintain this behavior even with distractions, because once we start to incorporate this into some real procedures, I want her to be able to work around distractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a minor distraction with my hand. Yes. If she maintains that position, I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to feed her. So I'm just telling Jane, yes, that things might happen during that chin rest, but she's still going to get the marker word yes and a treat. Now, if at any point, if I start moving my hand, so I'm going to wait until she offers her chin rest, I'm going to move my hand. If at any point she were to raise her chin off of the stool, I would stop. Okay, and I would still feed her, because what I'm going to teach her is that her lifting her chin off of the stool means that whatever is happening at that moment is going to stop. So right now, Jane really doesn't want my hand to stop. She has no desire for it to. Yes, so that's why she's maintaining her yes position. But if at any point she were to lift up, I would stop. And then I'd always still feed that no. So let's say she lifted up, I would still feed. I wouldn't necessarily mark, but I want her to know that the treat isn't contingent on her saying yes. If she says no, I would still feed her. So that's how you're going to teach your dog the start of a start button.